Welcome to your new podcast Optimum Ideation with the host and Bridges. Idea interviews. The best of human ideation. Everyone has a superpower. But times are hard, many are in the darkness of their own mind, in need of a helping hand. Helping others to become whole.
Our sponsoring brands.
Third-party people, NFT Fashion, TGC Fashion, Mark Point.
Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Optimum Ideation podcast. We have a fantastic guest today, Miss Julianne Meyer, and she is a creator and TV network producer of Achieve TV, as well as hosting her own show, which is Own Your Wellness. And so we're going to get into some questions here and ask her about your story, your resume, and how did you get to here, Julie?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate that. I love any conversation with you. My story, my history, it is so all over the place, Yeah. But basically, it took me a long time to figure out what my personal magic was and what my gift to the world was. And it isn't always what you expect it to be. So, I've done many things. I have a background in science. I have a background in pharmacy and restaurants, art, like regular fine arts. I've done all sorts of different things, but basically what got me to where I am now and what I'm doing now is my life exploded. And that was mostly my fault. And I'm okay with that because it got me where I am, but I needed to change. And so I decided to move to California from New York. And I got into the wellness field, and I've been in the wellness field ever since. And, in different capacities, working in addiction recovery as a personal trainer, a nutrition coach, doing life coaching, all the things that make life better and healthier and happier. And when COVID hit, I ended up with my own TV show.
Yeah.
And it was just a pivot. I had no intention of ever having a TV show, let alone a TV network. And it just sort of snowballed in the most fabulous way into having my own network. So, I just was open to the idea of what I wanted, but it didn't have to look a certain way. And what I mean by that is I wanted freedom. I wanted to have my own business, and I wanted to enjoy most of my day, most of the time. And I didn't expect it to be working in television, but here I am.
Right. I think that's a dream of many. And so, I think you'd be a great inspiration for a number of people.
Thank you.
So people get to where they want to go in life because they know where they want to go. Where do you ultimately want to go?
So, because of my history, I had this, I wasted a lot of my life trying to avoid life. And, through addiction issues and just, wasting my time on things that really didn't matter. And because of that, the thing that is the most important to me is leaving a legacy. I don't have any kids. However, I want to leave the world in a better place than how I came into it and how I treated it. It's almost like a living amends. So, the way that I see myself and how I want to be is, and I'm just owning this recently, is I'm going for it. I am going to be a media mogul. And, this first step of having my own television network is the very first baby step in that direction. And that's where I'm going. And I want it to be positive edutainment for people.
Yeah. That's what the world needs right now, is just a more positive message, more optimum ideation, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right word.
So what layers did you have to reveal to become who you are now?
I love that question because there's always layers and there's always going to be more, which is it's life. I mean, that's just how it is. But the things that I really had to look at were all fear-based. Everything was fear. I was afraid of living. I was afraid of dying. I was afraid of losing out on things, afraid of, you name it. I mean, it was all pervasive. It just took over absolutely every aspect of my life. And I didn't really realize it for the longest time because it hides behind watching Netflix, binge watching Netflix, or, not doing the things that I say I'm going to do. So for me, the layers that the big one that is still always probably going to be there is just the idea of becoming present to what is going on, good or bad, however I decide to name it, and just be in the moment as much as possible and appreciate it. Because, I've lost a lot of people and a lot of important people in my life. And the one thing I've learned is that life is really not guaranteed. And I know everybody says that, but until you know that in your being,
Right.
there's a huge difference between intellectually knowing and knowing in your soul. And so for me, it's always going to be this battle of taking away layers of fear when they pop up, because they're always going to pop up, and that's okay. It's just kind of fun to look at it now it's more of a game. So that's really like the main thing, was pulling away fear from keeping me from doing things that are really living my life, really doing this honor of being this human. I just want to do it justice.
Good. Yeah, that's a good layer to remove, because it just opens up so much more opportunities. And we wouldn't be sitting here today talking had we both not gotten over the fears that we had to do these things.
Exactly. I know you and I've talked about this, but I didn't feel comfortable in front of the camera. I didn't want to, this is not what I imagined for myself, yet here I am. And it was all because I said yes to the opportunities that were literally put in my lap. I didn't go out searching for it. It was put in my lap, and it's given me everything that I said I wanted. It just didn't look the way I thought that it would. So
exactly. And it's a funny thing. That's how life is. That you get these gifts and they don't come in the form that you expected them to come in. But you wake up and you say, okay, well, that was a gift. So what is the next layer for you to remove?
Oh, goodness. The next layer I would say is definitely, it's a two-parter. One is, listening to all of my thoughts and believing them, because they're just based on, limiting beliefs. And that's part of the other part of what I was referring to as far as, layers that I need to remove. It's like everything is impossible until it's possible. So, just because somebody said it was impossible or this is the way it is, doesn't mean that has to be my truth. There's a story about a woman who wanted to run a marathon, and they said, oh, well, I'm sorry, we're not going to take the legal responsibility. Women can't handle running marathons. Their bodies physiologically can't handle it. And so she snuck into the race and did it. I mean, we all know a woman can run a marathon, but at the time it was not socially acceptable. But she just broke through that barrier. So that's kind of where I am. I'm just trying to, instead of believing the limitations that are out there as truth, as some sort of weird fact, I choose not to believe that anymore. There's certain things like gravity, those are true, whether you believe it or not. But somebody telling me what I can and can't do, I don't believe it anymore. There's always a way if you really want something.
Yeah. I heard that story, and I've also seen another story about an old gentleman that had the same thing. I think he was in his 60s, 70s, and he wound up winning this marathon race. And I was like, wow. But they were saying you can't do it. You're just too old. And he said he snuck in there too. But that's what we got to do. I guess we got to sneak in there around our fears and go conquer these things, right?
Exactly.
So let's discuss, some of your most challenging trials and tribulations in your life.
Most people would think that I've experienced, like I mentioned, a lot of loss, I've had a lot of traumatic experiences, things that would cause PTSD, things that, would make your hair curl, just stuff like that. And people would normally think that those are, the trials and the tribulations. But sometimes when something is so big, it's almost like it's not real. It's just easier to handle. The things that get me, and these are the ones that get me, is the things in the morning. For example, not scrolling on social media, instead going to the gym and getting my workout done for the day. That is a trial to not get on the phone. I can handle the huge stuff, no problem. But it's the idea of, okay, well, I need to come up with, say, $10,000 for fill in the blank. How am I going to create that cash flow so that I can make this next step in my business happen? Those aren't huge deals. And in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that hard, but it depends on how you think about it. And it's all those little habits, those little things that will either take you closer to your goal or further away. Like, for example, before we came on here, I almost went and got myself a donut. Okay. I wanted a donut.
Better not.
It's not in alignment with my wedding body. So I'm getting married and I didn't do it, but I had that mental gymnastics, that whole, do I, don't I, is it okay? Maybe if I, all the hemming and hawing and just that mental, fight over the little things that they don't have to be like that. So for me, those are my trials and tribulations. It's the little things that will take me out of the game faster than anything, because one donut turns into 3, or every single day donuts. It is a cascade effect that is negative. So for me to not even start is the best way for me to keep moving forward, because that is something so small is what's gonna, it's going to turn into something huge if I let it.
Yeah. I've had my trials with foods and different things, and I still do. Mostly it's my wife trying, hey, you need to go get a cake. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe we do. But, most of the time I got myself in check, but whenever I get that peer pressure, man,
and then it comes into the idea of, well, we're celebrating, or it's one time, or, I'll start tomorrow, or, all these different things. What does it really matter? My family, I want to spend time with my family, all these justifications. Whereas if you had diabetes, it would not be an issue. You just wouldn't have the cake. It would be off the table.
Man. So when you first started this journey in your career, what is something that has been more trying than you had expected?
So I'm going to say something that I had this coach, and this is before I stepped out onto my own, into my entrepreneurial path that I'm on now. And he said, it always takes longer than you expect, and it costs more than you think it will. And I thought, yeah. Oh, he was so right. This idea of all these hidden expenses of things that you just don't know are going to come up, or if something breaks, or, all of it, you need this other piece you didn't think you would need in order to move forward. So there's the financial part of things. But honestly, it's this internal battle where I had this idea in my head that I should be at X spot by X day, and it didn't work out that way repeatedly. So it takes way longer than I ever expected.
Man. I just feel like, if we hadn't went through this crazy economic stuff that we've been going through these past few years, like, I imagine my business would probably be like 3 times the size it is now. And it's just like, I had to really learn patience, because I was always like a push, go. And I'm just going to push this thing. I'm going to slap it on my back, and I'm just going to go no matter what. And it's just like, man, these past few years, it's just like, man, I just really got to just be happy and like love myself for what we have accomplished. Making 7 figures and building other businesses as well, and helping people, and helping hundreds of people in their career, and it's just like, where we could have been and where we're at now. It's just like, it was such a letdown. I guess maybe last year, I'm just really sitting there like, man, we could be somewhere else and we're just here. And I just had to reassess everything, and come at the market a whole different angle.
Exactly. And then here's the other part of it too, is there's somebody out there that wishes they had your problem.
Exactly. Exactly. And
wish they were where you are.
yeah. And it humbles you to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah. That was probably the hardest thing, was realizing it's not on my timeline, but also, getting used to hearing no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of no.
Yeah. I love no's because at least it's a no.
That's that maybe business that is so frustrating.
Exactly. Give me the answer. I'm going to just keep jabbing you until I get it,
Exactly.
But yeah. When did you become passionate about your focus?
This is what's interesting, is I actually had this conversation with somebody earlier today, and was never passionate about having a TV show or having my own television network. I was never passionate about that. Wellness and well-being has always been my passion. I mean, even when I was a drunk sitting on a couch, I would be watching, health and wellness shows and reading books about self-improvement. Yeah. Mind you, I was drunk at the time, but
I was there too.
It's always been a part of me. That's so funny. Yeah. How ironic. But as far as, becoming passionate about this thing that fell in my lap, it was more of a need that I needed to fill. And the better I got at it, the more passionate I became about it. And now I'm in a place where I get to help other people create their TV shows so that they can do what I'm doing. And that is so rewarding for me, because it goes back to the whole legacy thing. I can only help X amount of people, but if I help other people and they help other people, then it just explodes exponentially. So to be able to put out quality entertainment for people that offers value and insight, and not just me, but multiple people doing the same, idea from their point of view, then it's exciting. I feel passionate about it. So that part is new, but I've always been passionate about wellness, and it just looks a little different now.
Yeah. It's the next level.
Exactly. It is. It's the next level. I didn't know I could get here. So
yeah. Well, so who were the greatest contributors to your character?
It's kind of interesting because I still have new ones. There's new people that have had their hand on my growth ever since I've been an adult, and picked out mentors and coaches and things, of that nature. But, my mom, who passed away when I was 14, she was a huge contributor, not in the most positive way, but it was almost like, I'm going to show you, even though you passed away, I'm going to show you who I can become. And then there's, it's those people that didn't necessarily give me everything I needed and wanted from them.
Wow.
Because they weren't capable of it. I'm not trying to say that they're bad people. I'm just trying to say that they gave me their best, but it wasn't everything that I needed from them. I got it from other places. But I would say that, it was kind of like she did pass away, but the last thing she said to me, and it's so funny because they had her in like an induced coma. And the nurse said, she can hear you. Tell her it's okay for her to pass away. And so I told her, Mom, it's okay if you die. And she sits straight. She's in a coma. She sits straight up in bed and she swears. And she goes, I'm not going to effing die. And then laid back down. And it was the last thing she ever said to me. Oh, wow. I think it's hilarious now. But what a fighting spirit. Yeah. She didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one of the biggest contributors to who I am now, because never give up. Not even when the odds are stacked against you. She didn't give up. She kept fighting to the very, very end and didn't just turn it, like throw the towel in or anything like that. So she's probably the biggest, even though she spent probably literally only 14 years of my life with me.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course my dad, he's been my biggest supporter too. So it goes
Yeah.
back to even like I still have my friends from childhood. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been really blessed with amazing people who have contributed to helping me become who I am, because we don't live on an island by ourselves, you know, and I love that question because we think we have to do everything by ourselves, but we can't. We can't even drink coffee by ourselves because where did the beans come from? You know,
Yeah.
somebody had to farm
Yeah.
them and send them and sell them and all the things. So, yeah, I
Very
would say my
good.
mom, though.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Who were you at your lowest, and who are you at your best?
Oh, I love that question because people need to know that we've all had, you know, these negative things. And I was low. Oh my goodness. I was a liar. I was a thief. I was a cheat. I did all of the things that I'm humiliated to talk about,
Right.
but I do talk about it because I am not that person anymore. And I haven't
Okay.
been for a long time. So
That's
even if
great.
you do make really bad choices, you have the opportunity to turn it around. I mean, I was just not anybody I recognized. It was awful. I mean, I probably should have been in jail a few times. I just fortunately didn't end up there. I mean, but it was awful, but at my best. And that's who I try to be every day. And I try to be my best self every day, better than the day I was before, even if it's incremental, even if it's just one little choice for something like not eating the donut. I'm somebody who genuinely cares and listens to other people. I have a service heart. I want to help other people get from where they are to where they want to go, and to actually live their lives to their fullest and realize that what they want doesn't have to be what the standard is for everybody. It's okay. It's okay for them to be themselves. So if I could just help one person a day, then I feel, like I've done my duty as me. And that's, even if it's as little as smiling at somebody that looks down, or asking somebody, can I carry that to your car for you? Or holding the door open, just any sort of act of kindness, and acknowledging and seeing people that aren't used to being acknowledged and seen. It makes a huge difference. I mean, I don't necessarily remember, but they do. So that's who I am now at my best, is somebody who, I'm obviously not perfect. And there's obviously things that, irritate me, and all the so-called negative things, but I don't focus on that. I focus on how I can help other people, because if I don't make myself the center of the universe, all of a sudden the world opens up, and it's a lot happier because I'm not focused on me. That's so tiny. I'm this tiny little thing. But if I focus on other people, all of a sudden everything comes to me anyway, but I'm happier because I've helped other people.
Right. Yeah, something that came to mind was I had heard Grant Cardone when I first started getting into like outside sales, and he was on a stage and he said, I hate myself. And I was just like, wow. I was like, that's so damn powerful to be on a stage in front of people and just say, I hate myself sometimes. And it just made me say, you know what? Shit, I guess we all kind of hate ourselves. But he actually said it on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, once you get that in your head, like you hate who you are, then you can become better. You can do good things, but you have to really realize that, hey, other people are going to hate me no matter what, no matter how much good you do. Like, people are going to hate you, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you've already hated yourself. They're going to hate you. What does any of it matter? You just got to keep doing good things, and it's just going to compound, right?
Yeah. And the more people you help, the more people you try and do good for, the more people are going to hate on you. It's the weirdest thing. It's I think the only one. Yeah, I think the only one that I've heard of that I've never really heard anything negative about is Mr. Rogers. I think he's the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, there probably is something now, you know.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Well, he was a sniper though too, wasn't he? In the army.
That's right.
So
There's somebody out there.
yeah, somebody isn't around because of that. But
Mhm.
so best piece of advice for an audience that truly wants to better themselves or others in this lifetime.
Oh, I love this. This is actually really simple and really hard at the same time. Always keep your promises to yourself, no matter how small that they are. If you say you're going to do something, you need to do it.
Yeah.
So the reason behind that, and it sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but how many times have we done all, like for me, I swore I wasn't going to eat the donut, yet I was still doing mental gymnastics over eating a donut. But I kept a promise to myself that I wasn't going to do that. And the thing about it is, even though it was tiny, is it gives me more self-respect, self-confidence, self-trust, and all of the things that make it much easier to make bigger, bolder, audacious decisions for myself and help other people. Because if the thing is if I don't like myself, how can I expect other people to? Because even I'll say to myself, even if they do, they don't really know me. This is what I'd be telling myself internally. But
Yeah.
honestly, if you can start keeping those little promises to yourself and be the person you say, I'm going to show up at 2:00, you show up at 2:00 or 1:59, or, you're there. People know that they can count on you. So
Right.
just being your word is one of the biggest, best gifts that you can give to anybody, but especially to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, about keeping commitments and timing. It's crucial in shows. Doing
Mhm.
TV and podcast world. It's just, it's a difficult thing, and to just show people, hey, man, we're gonna go live at 4, and then both of us show up and do this thing. Like, people have no idea what that is. The regular population is just
Mhm.
not. You got to be there, and you got to go do this thing, right? And
And be
it's a
ready.
big deal. It's a big deal for what you're doing on TV.
Yeah, it is. The other one too that it's actually an AA saying, but suit up and show up. That is you just get dressed and do it. And I
Yeah,
don't care what you feel about it.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, what practices or techniques throughout your day make your day a success?
Oh, I love that. So there's a few different things. One is scheduling.
Yeah,
If I don't have a schedule, I don't care if it's really important, it gets put off because all of a sudden I'm social media scrolling. I'm watching something on Netflix. I'm, playing with my cat. And then it's like, well, I've still got, 4 more hours until my next appointment. Yeah, I've got plenty of time. And then it's like 20 minutes to my next appointment. I'm thinking,
yeah,
crap, I didn't get anything done. So scheduling is by far the number one thing because that gives me more freedom to do
right,
the things that I genuinely want to do instead of just wasting my day on nothing.
right,
That is by far the biggest thing. But the other thing too is really taking care of myself holistically. So I meditate, I go to the gym, and I have a gratitude journal. These are all things that I do on a daily basis. I make sure that I read 50 pages of some sort of book every day. These are things that, and when I mean by book, I'm talking about, by leaders or a subject matter that I'm learning from,
right.
because there's just so much information out there that if I don't pump myself full of positivity, then I'm going to fill myself up with negativity. And then
Yeah,
I am not going to be able to see the opportunities that are available to me because I can't see positive things.
yeah,
So, by being careful, like I used to watch Law and Order and all these like cop shows and like negative, I stopped doing it.
yeah, yeah,
I stopped doing it. Now I only watch positive things that make me laugh or will teach me something if I'm going to
right,
do it, because I need to be able to see the opportunities that are put in front of me because they're always there.
yeah,
But your brain won't see them if it's tuned to looking at negative things. So priming my brain in all those positive ways, my body, my brain, food, what I eat, all of those things
yeah.
are must haves in order for my day to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to get away from TV. I don't even look at it anymore. I mean, it's just, there's always something hidden in there. And,
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, there
um,
is.
so if you could interview three people, who would it be?
So, in no particular order, I'm going to tell you the one that has almost happened
Yeah.
3 times, and then something comes up.
It's
Is
going to
Les
happen.
Brown? It's Les Brown. I want Les Brown. It's just
Oh,
so.
man. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
supposed to be on my very first summit, and I can't remember what happened. I was supposed to interview him on New Year's Eve, and then he's. I don't know if this is common. Not he has got some health issues, so I don't know if I'm supposed to say what's going on. But he didn't make it to the event, and then it was just like we're two ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
But
It's going to happen though.
It is. I mean, it's been set up multiple times. So, I know that that's going to happen. And then I would love to interview the Dalai Lama. That would be just to even be in the Dalai Lama's presence, just sitting there. I mean, oh my goodness, what I wouldn't give for that. That would be so amazing. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But the other one too, and this
I
one's
read his book.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So amazing.
But then I just saw some bad news the other day. So now I don't know.
Yeah, me too. So I kind of was like, ugh. But you know what? I choose to not necessarily believe everything because it could have been a joke like he said it was. So I'm going to choose to believe that. It's poor taste. Yeah. But the other one would actually be Steve Hardison. And he is known as the ultimate coach. And I would love to interview him. He doesn't do interviews. He turned down Oprah to give you an idea. But he is such a powerful, powerful force in the coaching world. He charged at this moment in time $200,000 to work with him for a year.
Wow.
If you want to work with him for about, I think it's 2 hours, is 10 grand. And he commands those prices. Like that's the value that he gives. So for, I would love to be around that kind of greatness.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could smoosh them up a little bit or something and make it happen.
Here's the thing is it's like there's 1 degree of separation right now between me and him. So
get someone to give you that intro or something.
Yeah, well, and I've got a few people, but he doesn't do it. So, I mean, I respect that. But that being said, you know what? I'm putting it in the universe. I'm going to be one of those people.
Let's do it. Yeah. So if you ever write a book or another book, what is it going to be about?
So it's funny because I'm actually in 2 books right now, but one is already out. It's called Achieve Wellness, and I'm a contributing author in that. And my book is kind of a little bit about my story and about how to overcome, the title is You Are Not Your Diagnosis. And so that kind of explains it, not believing absolutely everything that you're told. And then the book that I'm going to be in that's coming out is a thought leaders book, and it's going to be I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
Brian Tracy's in it, Jack Canfield, and a few of the other greats. And I can't say what my chapter's about because the article that is going to be, it's based on, it hasn't printed yet. So yeah. But I will just say that it's for the Female Thought Leader Special Edition for the LA Tribune. So it is a thought leader type of article, which is pretty cool. But as far as like my book, I want to write a book of my story, just something that, I went from a homeless drunk on food stamps that literally just couldn't even make it to the bathroom because my legs were so weak, to, having my own television network. And it did not take me that long.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I think something to inspire other people to not believe their past has to be their future.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Um, so do you have a networking event, book, product, or invention, service for the audience to help you promote?
Actually, there is an event coming up. It's with Achieve Systems, and there is a networking business building event in Denver, Colorado, June 8th. I'm sorry, June 9th to the 10th of this year. And tickets are online. It's Achieve Biz. Yeah, and it's going to be an amazing event. There's going to be over 300 people. I'm going to be there. I am one of the leaders. So it's going to be a pretty awesome event to network, and it's all entrepreneurs.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe share the links in this posting here, and that way people can join. Yeah. Also, what is the best way for the audience to support your mission? Get in contact, maybe talk about your shows a little bit?
Yeah, so I've got a website that's kind of like a one-stop shop for talking with me and seeing all the different offerings that we have, and that is ownyourwellness.net. And you could set up a time to talk with me directly, no strings attached, obviously. And I think that a lot of people offer that, but they're actually trying to sell something. I am genuinely interested in meeting people and seeing how we can collaborate, as well as if there's a way that I can even be of service. That's how you and I met. So
exactly. Yeah.
You never know.
That's what this is all about, is how can we help others that are helping others, right?
Exactly. I want to be that person that helps others help others.
Perfect. Well, that concludes our show. I hate this part, but I definitely appreciate that you came and showed up and shared your story. And I'll be glad to promote and share your content that you want to send my way, and we'll get you out there to more people in the audience.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to cut out here.
After 40 people production.